Hey everybody, how is it going today? I hope you're all having a good weekend. Well, in this video, I want to do an update on ZOMEDICA stock. I've had a couple people asking me to go over the current price action since it's been probably about a week since I've done a video on ZOMEDICA. So I'm going to go over that, plus I'm going to go over the chart of LKCO. I've also had a couple of requests for that one. Then I want to go over another stock that looks like it is setting up for a good week coming up. So make sure you stick around for that as well. Now, if you're new to my channel, I like to find short-term and long-term trading opportunities in typically lower-priced stocks. Not only will I talk about the featured stock in the video, but I also try to present at least a couple other nice-looking tradable opportunities that are happening currently in the market. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any future trading ideas. But please remember, I am not a financial advisor, so please do all of your own research before buying any of these stocks. All right, well, here is the current daily chart of ZOMEDICA, ticker symbol ZOM. I couldn't find any significant news, so I'm just going to get right into the chart analysis. As we can see, this stock is still holding up remarkably well after this huge move up. And even though these last 3 days seems like there's not much going on, that's actually very strong. You know, it already filled the gap that it made about 4 trading days ago, and it is holding at those upper levels. So as soon as this moving average catches up to price, there's a very good chance that it could give it another slingshot move up. You know, there's no guarantee of that, but usually when a stock is holding up, by the time the moving averages catches up, that's usually when you see the next leg up. I mean, it happened right down here. If we go back in time just a smidge, we can see it had that big move up. This is when I covered it last week. Had the big move up, came down, filled the gap after that gap up, filled it immediately the next day, hung around the highs until that 8-period exponential moving average caught back up, and then we had that move up over $1. By the looks of the chart, it doesn't look like it's going to be slowing down anytime soon. You know, that could be wrong. It could have a sharp move down the next trading day and break this moving average. So there are no guarantees in trading, of course. But when you see a pattern like this, odds favor, you're probably going to get another move to the upside. Now, this stock is still pretty extended. You know, when it first took off just a few weeks ago, I mean, this thing was under a dime, and it almost touched $1.50 just a few days ago. So this sucker is pretty extended. And if anybody owned the stock, you know, all the way back to last year or so, they are sitting on a substantial gain. So when you have a substantial gain, there is the temptation to ring the register, but it looks like if there has been anybody selling, it's being absorbed rather quickly because it's still holding these highs. So, I mean, if you're sitting in this stock, there is absolutely no reason at this point to be worried about this uptrend. Let's go intraday and take a closer look at the last several days' price action. Okay, well, first we are going to take a look at the hourly chart, and as we can see, it is still continuing to move sideways. If I zoom in just a little bit, I got to admit, this 3-bar action right here on big volume is kind of concerning. You know, that was the point on the daily chart where it filled that gap. But, you know, since then, it is holding its own. Usually when you get a sharp move down like that, you can usually expect a little bit more. But, like I said, this thing has been holding its own. If there has been any sellers, it's been absorbed. You know, I mean, you could probably argue that this is a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern. I don't think that I would put it in that category. I bet if we go intraday, when we go to the 15-minute chart next, it's probably going to look a little bit more like a head and shoulders pattern. But number one, head and shoulders patterns aren't super predictive. I've seen head and shoulder patterns go either way all the time, and I don't usually get too excited one way or another about a head and shoulders pattern because the predictability isn't as high as some of the other patterns that I use. But let's go to the 15-minute chart real quick here. All right, well, looking at the 15-minute chart, I mean, you could probably argue it's a little subjective that this could be a head and shoulders pattern, and this being a head and shoulders pattern, if you're not familiar with it, that is actually a bearish pattern. I think this pattern specifically that's playing out right now is just kind of like a long consolidation. So that's actually a bullish pattern. And if it can stay above, 90 cents or so until that 8-period exponential moving average catches up, I think that's going to be a very good sign for ZOMEDICA. And just the way that ZOMEDICA is playing out right now, I think it's it screams that it's just going to be another leg up. I don't think it's under distribution just yet. So if any of you guys are still holding ZOMEDICA, I wouldn't be. Let me go back to the daily chart super quick here. All right, well, flipping back over to the daily chart, if you're holding ZOMEDICA, I really wouldn't be worried from a technical perspective unless it broke below 75 cents. I think if we have a sharp move down below 75 cents, that's probably going to lead to further pressure on the stock. And I know some of you out there are probably holding this stock well over $1. So you don't want to hear that you have to risk all the way down to 75 cents before there is a technical sell signal as far as I'm concerned. But, the chart is what the chart is. So, but anyway, that being said, I still think this is a super bullish pattern. And I think we got another leg up coming in ZOMEDICA in the next week or so, just because it's holding up so well. But please like this video if you enjoyed this analysis and to get ZOMEDICA up in the YouTube algorithm. But those are my current thoughts on ZOMEDICA. If anything substantial happens, I'll cover this in another video. But let's get over to LKCO. All right, well, right here is the current daily chart of LKCO, and I can see why I have been getting so many questions about this one. It's because the chart doesn't look so good right now. The last trading day, it had a little bit of a breakdown. I currently do not own this stock, but as of the last day's price action, this is a big, nasty red bar on above average volume. So if I was holding this and I was still in it, I would be considerably worried at this point. If I had purchased it on this up move, I would probably have put my stop loss below this 21-day simple exponential moving average, this purple line. But from a technical point of view, even though it has broken down some, it's not a complete breakdown as far as I'm concerned, because it is above this support level right at the moment. This looks like a pretty good support level, so I would be pretty curious to see how it reacts to this support level. I'm guessing if it didn't have such big volume, I would guess it was probably going to hold serve at this support, probably bounce up a little bit and maybe continue sideways. But because of that bigger than normal selling volume, and I didn't find any news on this one, so I don't know what the catalyst was for this selling, or maybe if I just missed the news article. But from a technical perspective, I would be just about ready to cut ties with this one. Let's go intraday and take a little bit of a closer look. A lot of times before I do make a decision, I do want to take a look at the intraday chart, because once you look at the daily action, sometimes you got to go intraday to get a better look and to see what is actually developing. But let's go to the intraday chart. All right, well, looking at the hourly chart that I have up right now, you can see how it definitely rolled over. It was looking rock solid on this initial move up, and for whatever reason, we just got some selling into the market, but it's still holding par right at that resistance area. And as we can see, this was starting to round up nicely. The lows were rising, and it busted through this resistance area, which now is support. And if you back out a little bit, you could draw a channel line on this uptrend, and you're like right there. Not only is this resistance slash support area in the process of being tested at the moment, you also have this uptrend line that is also in the process of being tested. So, if you draw this up channel line, or I'm sorry, if you draw this this channel right here, you can see that it is still technically in an uptrend. It's at the scary part of the uptrend channel, but obviously this is the best part to be buying the uptrend of the channel, as long as the channel remains intact. So, and that's usually the scariest time to buy, when a stock is threatening the lower boundaries of that channel. You don't know whether it's going to break through or not, but if it does catch support, which I kind of, like I said, if it didn't have that bigger than average volume, I would be much more optimistic that it's going to react in a positive manner to this support area and this trend channel line on the bottom and, get another swing move up. But right now it's probably about 50-50 looking at this chart. And, I know that's not giving you guys a whole lot of perspective if you're into this stock, but, this action is what it is. So hopefully we do get a move up, but I think if it does find support at this area, we could have a little bit of smooth sailing up to the upper part of this trend channel, which is, almost a double from this point. So, it could be a nice swing up. And from a risk reward point of view, if it breaks down here into, certainly in below 60 cents, which is not a whole lot of risk for right now for where it's at. So if it breaks below 60 cents, you could just cut ties and head on to the next opportunity. But your potential reward, like I said, is almost a double, and your potential risk is right around 10 cents. A 10-to-1 risk reward is a pretty good risk reward that you don't see very often in some of these trading opportunities, but you do get that advantage when you're buying at the bottom of that trend channel. So as far as LKCO goes, if I was in it, I would be, eagerly watching this area, and I'd probably only be risking about another 10 or 12% or so. And if I wasn't in this stock and I wanted to take a trade, I mean, this isn't a bad one right now, and I might look into this on Tuesday when the market opens back up. But those are my current thoughts on LKCO. I hope I answered your questions. If I didn't, leave me a specific question in the comment section, and I'll try to work that into the next video if I can't answer it in the response to the comment. But yeah, I'll try to work that into the next video, and hopefully I'll answer it a little bit better. But let's get into the next opportunity that I could see could be having a decent up move next week. All right, well, the last one I want to go over is Sundial Growers Incorporated, ticker symbol SNDL. I talked about this one a few videos ago, but we can see that it is still holding above that 8-period exponential moving average. So every day that it does that, it is building up momentum for that potential explosion up move. So even though it hasn't taken off just yet, we can see that it is above all these major moving averages. Let me zoom in just a little bit here. We can see that it is above all those major moving averages. They are all starting to turn up, so that's indicating it is starting to form a very nice uptrend, and it is holding above that 8-period exponential moving average. So of course that is a great sign. We got these two topping tails right here, which is a little bit of concerning. Once it got above 75 cents, it brought some sellers into the market, but is still, decently above that 8-period exponential moving average. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a very bullish looking chart. And every time a stock can hold above that 8-period exponential moving average when it starts to trend up, that's almost like, I look at it as kind of like a rocket ship countdown. Every day is like T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7. You're just counting down to that rocket taking off every day that it can hold above that 8-period exponential moving average. So the longer it consolidates above this moving average, the better chance it has when the moving average catches up to the current price to giving it a boost up. So I think Sundial Growers, as of right now, looks really bullish. It's looking like it's indicating it's going to open up around 65 cents, which puts it right at that moving average. I mean, of course, anything can change on the next trading day. So, I mean, it could easily gap up the next trading day, so this really doesn't mean too much right now. But the longer this thing stays up, I think it, and I think because it is holding so well above that moving average, there's a great chance that it could be moving substantially higher this week coming up, or maybe even the following week, as long as it can continue to make this constructive pattern above these moving averages. So Sundial Growers, in my opinion, certainly could be in play this next week as a breakout candidate. All right, guys, well, that's all I have for this one. But if you have any questions or comments on any of these stocks, please don't hesitate to leave them down there in the comment section, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed the content, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you don't miss any future trading opportunities. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, and until next time, take care, everybody.